It's not so bad to admit that you don't know, that you haven't really found the answer. You thought you did, but you didn't. Okay? And things are not going so good and you've been messing up. It's not so bad to admit that. It's just the truth, that's all. Just admit it. You'll feel better. Admit it. Okay? No, of course it's not. I said it's not your fault that you're born in a fallen world with wrong authorities and with a fallen nature and all of that. I said it's not your fault. Okay? Which is true. However, I also have to say that you're not completely without some responsibility in all of this. See, you're probably, if you're like most people, when I say you, I'm I'm just talking in general terms, but it usually applies to most people. So if you're like most people, you're full of a lot of hate, a lot of anger, you have grudges, unfinished business. See, maybe you resent your dad, wasn't there for you, he failed you, okay? Or your mom, she was too much, she spoiled you, or she got between you and your dad, or she put you down and yelled at you and slapped you around, bossed you around, and it was humiliating, see, or your big sister was mean, or your big brother was, see what I mean, was a bully, or kids were bullies. But how about you? Didn't you bully someone too? When you had a chance, weren't you cruel to someone? See, someone was cruel to you and then you turned around and you were cruel to someone else. Or did you let people down? You went off to college or to another city and you didn't care. You didn't care about those people who maybe you should have cared about. You were selfish. You wanted pleasure. You wanted pleasure. See. So now you have to see all these things. Maybe you were married. You made some mistakes. You were selfish. See, look, we all come into marriage selfish. You have to learn to be unselfish. See, that's what marriage is for, incidentally. Marriage is not supposed to be a pleasure party. Marriage is a framework, see, ordained by God. God blesses marriage. See, it's a framework ordained by God within which to work out the ancient mystery of what goes on between men and women. See, remember Adam failed. See, and Eve resented him for his failure. Adam was ambitious, and he failed. And then he looked to Eve to support him in his fallen condition. So how about you modern Eves? Did you resent your dad? Did you resent your husband? You resent men for failing? See? It's very easy to resent men, and it's easy to judge men. Because men are so judgeable. They become contemptible. They become like dogs, whimpering dogs, looking for their sex fix. Isn't that the way a lot of men are? And their egos are so wobbly. They're always craving support, craving for you to support their pride. But when you do, and a lot of times you do, see, then a lot of times you're guilty for resenting him. And then because of the resentment, you feel guilty, and then in guilt, you're extra nice. And then you serve him to make up for the guilt. And then he takes advantage, or he becomes even worse. So your love that he craves, you begin to discover that it's not making him better, it's making him worse. And you wish he would stand on his own feet, see, and be a man, and not crave love for you. He should give love, not crave love. So there you have it in a nutshell. And you men, you've been wimpy. You put women on a pedestal. You put your wife on a pedestal, worship her, but look to her to support your ego, to make you feel that in your fallen state that your wrong is right, and make you feel that your animal is what a man is all about, your animal nature. See, you made her do that, okay, which she did, but she resented you for it. Okay, so now you have to see that you've been weak, and then you were a people pleaser, undoubtedly, if you're like most men. See, I'm just saying in general. Of course, some men become brutes and violent and so on, but they're obviously wrong. They're just wrong, wrong, wrong. Okay? But a lot of men are not so bad. They're halfway decent. In fact, a lot of men are actually wimpy. People pleasers. They want to be popular. So a man is supposed to stand for something. See? In the Garden of Eden, Adam was supposed to say, Eve, put the apple down. Okay, Father says we're not to eat of that tree. But instead, he went for it. See? So a man has to stand for what's right, but not in an angry way. Stand with based on principle, on a commitment to what is right, on a true love for others, and unselfishly. Okay? And with a twinkle in his eye. Not angry, but with a twinkle in his eye. See? Well, all right, so you have to learn all that stuff, you men. And you ladies have to learn not to resent your husband and not to hate men. See? You have to learn not to resent them and not to judge them. See? It's very easy to have contempt for men and then to puff up and feel superior. And that builds your pride, your ego. See? It builds your pride and then it causes you to have conflict and guilt over your pride for being contemptuous. See? So all these things have to, so it's like boot camp, especially for you men. Most of you are wimpy, you don't have any idea what your family needs from you. You got the wrong idea of what love is. You're a people pleaser, so you need a little boot camp, some basic training. That's what my books are for, and some of my videos and my lectures, especially my books. You need to learn some basic things. Then your wife will be much happier and your kids when you start to be a man again, see? Okay, and ladies have to learn not to resent men. Give him a little space. Give him a little space. Maybe he can find himself. Maybe he won't. Maybe he won't. But maybe he will. You don't know. See, you're so full of judgment that sometimes, see, some women get to the point where everything he does is wrong. They cannot even see him doing anything right anymore. They're so full of resentment toward him. But see, it started with their father. They transfer the resentment toward the father who failed them to their husband. So you see, there's a lot to learn, a lot to see. But you see, if you're starting on the ground floor, you can build and improve and grow.